Hi there, I'm Janet Gerstensiegel and I'm the Lonely Writer. This is serious social media help for the independent author who is defined as the author who does not yet have an agent. I am a master's degree candidate at Quinnipiac University, and this is my capstone project. Today I'm going to be talking about transitioning from fan fiction, because if you first wrote in someone else's universe and now you want to claim your own, you might be transitioning from fan fiction. So it's more than just filing off a few serial numbers, as they say. Fanfiction's got this ready-made universe, it's got ready-made characters and this built-in readership, although recognize that the size of the readership is going to depend a lot upon the age of the foundational intellectual property and upon its overall popularity. So some obscure show that might have been on the air a couple of times in the 1950s is definitely not going to have the interest that something much more popular and more recent has. But to be truly original, you've got to do more than just change a few names. Now, fan fiction writing does not teach you how to make your own world, and it can hamper your growth in that area. And if you're not used to making your own characters, it can hurt you there as well. But the way that fan fiction writing can actually help you is by flipping your perception. So consider what the foundational IP does and why it matters to you as you start the process of transitioning. Now, one of the reasons why fan fiction, why the foundational IP might matter, is the interesting stories. So spend a little time deconstructing your favorites. Where did the writers hand wave some problem away? Where did they get confusing? Where did they deliver on the promise of their teaser or preview? What about the compelling characters that they've got? Why do the canon characters matter to you? Now, engage in a little deconstruction again. Forget who plays the character. Consider how you would feel about that character if they were played by somebody else. What if the actor or actress wasn't available, or they were otherwise engaged, or some other reason they don't pass the audition? Further consider how you'd feel if the character's gender or their sexuality was swapped. And how would you feel different if the race was different? If it was played by an utterly different different actor. Be your own casting director. Which person, living or dead, could play the role better? Also, fascinating scenes. That's another reason why we love foundational IPs. Even within a familiar place, a commercial intellectual IP exists kind of within its own bucket, its own piece of its own city block or hospital, or it's even a car driving across the country, or it could be something else. So what happens if the scene shifts? What happens if it goes from Milwaukee to San Diego, or even to Angkor Wat? Does the foundational IP still work? Keep flipping. What about action-driven plots? What kicks things off? If this is a television program, what happens during the pilot? That's very important. Did somebody new move in? Did someone lose their job? Did they get married? Did they have a kid? Did they graduate? Did they get arrested? Did they get divorced? Would the storyline still work if the pilot was different? The pilot is essentially what we call in fiction the inciting incident. Now, it's also believable effects, it's makeup, it's costumes, it's lighting, it's scenery, it's all of that window dressing that goes along. Now, technology is definitely a part of on-screen fiction writing, and new techniques are continuously being developed, but studios also save money at the same time as they try to enhance believability. But what happens if an older show or a film could get new makeup and green screening, perhaps? Would that help the story? Would it harm it? Would it alter it significantly? But you want to blaze your own trail. So for every exciting intellectual property out there, whether it's books or films, TV programs, YouTube videos, etc., it all starts someplace. So compelling intellectual properties, they take time to develop, and they're often created by several people. So please don't be afraid to ask for feedback from your peers in order to try to help you create your own IP. Finally, a quick pep talk. What's your story? Who are your characters? And who knows? Maybe someday somebody will want to write fan fiction about your work. So you might want to get cracking on it, huh? Finally, this is Janet Gerstensiegel for The Lonely Writer, because an independent writer never has to be alone. Thanks so much for listening.